Franny K. Stein, Mad Scientist, Book 2, Attack of the 50-Foot Cupid, Chapter 5, What Could Be Worse? Franny sat in class listening to her teacher, Miss Shelley. Now, remember that we'll be celebrating something special at the end of the week, Miss Shelley said. You'll need to have valentines ready to share. Franny raised her hand. Miss Shelley, what are valentines? Miss Shelley never understood how Franny could know so much about weird things, but so little about normal things. Franny felt the same way about Miss Shelley. The simple truth was that Franny, like most geniuses, studied the things she loved and didn't pay much attention to anything else, including holidays. A valentine is an expression of friendship or love, Miss Shelley began. Like for your mom? Franny asked. Well, sure, you can send your mom a valentine, but valentines also celebrate love for those other than your parents. I'm not sure I understand, Franny said. Here's an example of something you might write on one, Miss Shelley continued. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Can I write this on every valentine? Franny asked. No, said Miss Shelley. You try to personalize them, express your feelings about the person. Okay, you're the boss, Franny said, although she had no idea what Miss Shelley was talking about. Chapter 6, Frannies Valentine Poem Generator. Later, Franny sat at her desk and worked on her assignment. I know just the thing to make this much simpler, she said triumphantly. I'll create one valentine that will work for everyone. That will save a lot of time. Igor watched quietly, although he really wanted to help. The next day, Franny showed her invention to Miss Shelley. It's called the Valentine Poem Generator. You put the same thing on every valentine, and the recipient just chooses one section from each column. It's called a matrix. This way, they can customize it for themselves. There are 625 different combinations. Take this one, for instance. Boogers are green. I play the kazoo. Bigfoot is hairy. Your family is too. Miss Shelley smiled. She looked at Franny's card and then back at Franny. Franny, this is very clever, but maybe I didn't explain it very well. Perhaps adding some decorations or pictures might help. Oh yeah, Franny said, like pictures of the boogers and Bigfoot, right? Well, I was thinking about a picture of something more traditional, Miss Shelley corrected. Like Cupid. Cupid? Franny asked. What's that? Well, Miss Shelley explained, Cupid is this little naked guy with wings. He flies around shooting people with special arrows. Franny was fascinated. And people like him? People love him, Miss Shelley laughed. And sometimes he has little hearts floating around him. Franny smiled. Hearts. Well, I like that part, she said. And he's always saying something mushy, Miss Shelley said. Mushy, Franny said as she took notes. And this is all there is to this love stuff? Franny asked. Miss Shelley smiled. Well, there are other things like flowers and candy, I suppose, but Cupid is a good start, Franny. Chapter 7 Drawing Conclusions. Back at home, Franny looked over the notes she had made at school. Naked, wings, arrows, she mumbled, and hearts. She looked at her drawing. Oh, and he always says something mushy. She whispered, let's see. Intestines are pretty mushy. I have the hang of this Valentine thing, Frannies said confidently, and she designed a few more, just for good measure. Igor watched quietly, but he really wanted to help.